You probably think that chefs just have better recipes. That's not always true. It's all about balance. Acid to fat, salt to sweet, and crunch for contrast. It's time to show you how it really works with some delicious pork belly. So how do you find a hero ingredient to build the rest of your dish around? Well, in the restaurant world, it usually starts from a gap in a menu. You see that you need a pork dish on the menu, so you'll talk to your butcher and you'll see what cuts best suit your budget and what's kind of working well at the moment. In a domestic sense, it usually happens when I'm walking past the butcher shop window and I see something delicious in the window and I think, that piece of pork belly, I want to eat for my dinner tonight. And that's when I start thinking about the rest of the dish. But first things first, let's get this pork cooking. Crispy skin pork belly is a thing of beauty. This is more of a European style crispy pork belly. There's also the Cantonese style, which is a slightly different technique. Perfect crispy skin and juicy pork belly actually starts the day before. You're gonna take your pork belly and you're gonna score it around 1/2 centimeter thick across the whole surface of the skin. Then you're gonna season that really well with kosher salt or cooking sea salt. You're gonna put it on a rack, on a tray, and in the fridge uncovered overnight. The next day you're gonna pull it from the fridge, brush off any excess salt, and pat the skin really, really dry. It's quite important that you get the skin as dry as possible. At this point, you can roast it as a whole piece. I actually prefer to portion it before we roast it because it makes it much easier to give lovely portions, cutting it now, than once it's cooked. You're gonna make a little rub for the underneath. I'm simply gonna finely dice some sage leaves, some black pepper, just a little bit of salt and olive oil. The olive oil is there for 2 reasons. First and foremost, to get the seasoning to stick to the pork, and secondly, so the pork doesn't stick to the tray. Then we're gonna place that tray into a 140 degrees Celsius oven for 3.5 hours. So at this point, we know this delicious, crispy and unctuous pork belly is gonna be the hero of our plate. But what else is gonna complement it? Well, I always think about dishes with your main protein. Now that can be a vegetable, it can be something, or it can be a piece of meat. A carbohydrate, so in this instance, we're gonna use a potato and we're gonna make a mashed potato with some lovely seeded mustard through it for some sourness. And then we need some other garnishes for the side. 2 flavors that work incredibly well with pork: aniseed, so some fennel, and sweetness, crispness of sour apples. The other thing you can think about is how many times you can use a flavor in a dish. So with apples, we're gonna do some Calvados braised apples. So Calvados is a apple brandy. We're gonna braise the apples in the apple brandy. We're gonna do some raw apples in our fennel salad, and we'll use apple cider vinegar in our jus or our sauce later. A sauce is a really key component in bringing a dish together, so make sure you hang around for that. But first up, let's get these potatoes on, ready to mash. So the seeded mustard mash. Take your potatoes, peel them and place them in a large pot with lots of water and a big pinch of salt. Bring them to a light simmer and cook them for 35 minutes until they're fork tender. Drain them well and then leave them in the colander in the pot that they cooked in so that they steam and any extra water evaporates from the potatoes. The last thing you want is waterlogged potatoes. Push your potatoes through a ricer. If you don't have a ricer, you can just use a normal masher, and then add in cold cubed butter. Mix that through before letting the potatoes down with full fat milk until it reaches the consistency you're looking for. Finally, add a couple of big spoons of seeded mustard and a pinch of salt, stir that through, and then leave it to the side until you're ready to serve. You can make them ahead of time, cool them down and heat them back up. I think it's better to make them fresh, and they will hot hold for about an hour, just at kind of ambient temperature or on a very, very low heat, no problem at all. Sauces, I think they're one of the most underutilized things in home cooking. They have this great way of bringing a whole dish together, and they also naturally have a great way of bringing moisture or liquid to a plate. There's nothing better than like a good gravy or a good sauce. We're gonna make an apple cider sauce, and it's really not that complicated. Slice these nice and thin. I'm gonna crush 2 cloves of garlic, and I've got about 7 or 8 pieces of thyme. I'm gonna sweat down these shallots until they're nice and translucent. And then I'm gonna add the garlic and the thyme, saute that for another 2 minutes before we add the cider. Now you want a dry cider, not a sweet cider for this recipe, I think. There should be enough sweetness going on in the dish, so we want to counter that with a nice dry cider. Add your cider to the pot, and you're gonna reduce that until it's come down by at least 2/3. Now you're gonna add some good quality chicken stock and keep cooking it until it's reached the consistency you're looking for. You want something that coats your mouth, but you don't want something that's really tacky and kind of sticky. Also gonna make a quick parsley oil that does 2 things. Adds a really vibrant green color to the plate, also adds a really lovely freshness when you're eating the dish. Super simple to make. Take a bunch of picked flat leaf parsley, blanch it in boiling water for like 30 seconds, and plunge it into ice cold water to stop the cooking. Add it to a blender with some good quality extra virgin olive oil. When you're using a blender, put a lid on it. Kitchen tips with Andy. And blend on high for 35 to 40 seconds. Then you're gonna pass it through a coffee filter or a clean tea towel, anything like that. We're trying to get all the impurities out. You're gonna get left with a lovely, vibrant green oil. So Calvados braised apples. Calvados is apple brandy. See what we're doing here? Layering flavors, reinforcing that apple undertone. I'm gonna peel and core some Granny Smith apples and cut them about 2.5 centimeters thick. I core them after I slice them so that you know you're gonna hit exactly in the center. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of olive oil and a big knob of butter to a pan, and then I'm gonna saute those apples for 3 to 4 minutes each side with a few sprigs of sage, again, reinforcing that sage flavor that we had on our pork. And then I'm gonna flambe with that Calvados until it's fully cooked all the way through. You want these apples just cooked. They're not quite ready to serve yet. They're gonna sit there and keep cooking in residual heat. So you only want them just cooked, or even a slightly under. Just slightly though. 3.5 hours and our pork is looking scrumptious. Lots of fat rendered out, which is perfect. We want that fat, but we do wanna let our meat rest a little bit. You can see that it's nice and soft and jiggly, but the skin isn't crackled and puffed up yet. We will fix that in a second. I'm gonna let this sit here and just hang out and rest. You can let it rest for half an hour, however long, it doesn't really matter, but a good 15 minutes at a minimum. While that's resting, we need to make our salad. So we're gonna make a shaved fennel salad with some sliced green apple, fresh parsley, and a really lemon-forward dressing. And the reason we want so much lemon in this dressing is so that we cut through all this fattiness and all the sweetness and all the sourness that we've already got on our plate. So we're just gonna add the juice of 2 lemons to a small jar with a pinch of salt and about the same amount of olive oil as lemon juice as we've got. We're gonna shake that really, really well. So we've got everything ready. I have dressed my salad already because you want the acid of the juice to stop from the veggies from oxidizing and going brown. I'm gonna add all that delicious pork lard to a pan. I'm gonna get it over a medium heat. Then we're gonna add the pork skin side down until it puffs up and goes all lovely and crunchy. Now it's time to plate. We're good to go. Our mash is ready, our pork's ready, our salad's ready, our sauces are ready, our apples are ready. Crispy pork belly, seeded mustard mash, Calvados braised apples, and then a little lovely fennel, parsley, and apple slaw. And that's how I build a whole dish around one main protein. Think about the key points, making sure the flavors are balanced. Don't be afraid to use flavors that we know work well together. Apple, pork, and fennel is a classic and has been for ages for a reason. Beef and beetroots work really well together. Fish and fennel works really well together. Pork and stone fruit. Think about textures. You want things that are crunchy, you want things that are soft, things that are gonna complement each other well, but more importantly, think about flavors. Acid will fight fat, salt will fight sweetness, and crunch brings it all together. We end up with a perfectly balanced plate of food because we've thought about it all the way through and we've layered flavors. Thanks for watching, legends. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Like this video if you've taken anything from it, and we'll see you next week for another recipe. I'm gonna have a bite. Wow, sometimes I surprise myself.